declined over the last 10 years, but we're working on that. So our mission, I lost my slides. Our mission is to maximize opportunities for small businesses to contribute to the national security by providing combat power for our troops and economic power for our nation. So in 2019, the Office of Small Business Programs came up with a small business strategy for inclusion in the National Defense Authorization Act, resulting in the development of 3 strategic objectives. Number 1, to implement a unified management structure. Number 2, align DoD's small business activities with national defense priorities. And number 3, strengthening DoD's ability to support small business. So we continue to work towards achieving these objectives, which can be found more. We can find out more about them on our website, business.defense.gov. And then in 2020, as everyone is aware, our challenges changed as COVID-19 came on the scene. So we had to pivot a little bit from these objectives, but now we are back to them. So let me tell you what we did in 2020 to specifically address this. Shortly after the pandemic began, we established open lines of communication with our industry partners to maintain a pulse on the private sector. We worked closely with industrial policy and brought together stakeholders from across acquisition and sustainment to host regular calls with 15 key industry associations, representing the interests of over 3 million companies. These bi-weekly calls have been an essential conduit for information both to and from the private sector. And based on the information that we gathered during these calls, our team has addressed issues such as the impacts on small businesses, work stoppages, getting a higher rate of progress payments out to our industry. And then with CARES Act dollars, the department entered into agreements for over $664 million in defense industrial base investments across our hardest hit defense industrial sectors, ensuring our national security mission is supported. These investments included $236 million in shipbuilding and $252 million in aircraft sector, with more investments in medical resources and other sectors. We also partnered with the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, IDFC, to leverage $100 million to provide loans to support growth in industries critical to the COVID response and recovery. The pandemic has given us greater visibility into how fragile our supply chains, both domestically and with foreign suppliers. We have learned an important lesson that securing and diversifying our supply chains is paramount, especially when collaborating with allies or partner nations to utilize or develop capabilities overseas. Building off these lessons learned, we are focusing on reshoring critical capabilities going forward and building greater capability here at home to deter adversarial capital and lessen our foreign dependencies. So we are addressing industry concerns with the small business defense webinars, which cover a broad range of topics, including COVID-19 resources, cybersecurity, foreign investment, and successful teleworking practices. And this month, our topic is small business innovation. So in 2020, we had about 9 webinars, and we've continued these into 2021, and we continue monthly to target small businesses, and we've seen about 4,000 different small businesses. So I welcome you all to join in our webinars as well. You can find out information from that on our website, which is business.defense.gov, which I'll have at the end. So we also have a renewed focus on our digital outreach efforts. Our website has grown tremendously in content and views over the past year, and we continue to build and grow. And we also keep the website up to date specifically on any COVID-19 resources that are available. And we are working to make the site the central hub of information for all things DoD small business, including listing events from all of our small business offices all in one place, making it easier for industry to connect with DoD. We've used our social media platforms as another way to connect with industry directly, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Business Defense. We are always happy to collaborate and share any exciting news or worthwhile training that others may be having. So all of these efforts have helped DoD spend nearly $4.8 billion directly on small businesses to support the COVID-19 response. That represents nearly half of the total DoD dollars spent on COVID-19 related efforts. We are working to also shine a light on ongoing cybersecurity requirements. DoD released an interim rule on September 29, 2020, that created two distinct cyber compliance regimes for DoD contractors. This interim rule became effective December 1st, 2020, and contractors were required to undergo an assessment process to ensure compliance with NIST SP 800-171, ranging from a basic assessment to a medium or high assessment. And as of December 1st, DoD is including two new DFAR clauses in DoD contracts, which require contractors to perform assessments and submit scores as a condition of award. Through a partnership with U.S. Cyber Command, the Office of Small Business Programs created Project Spectrum. It's a one-stop shop for industry's cybersecurity maturity model certification, CMMC. Project Spectrum offers training to small businesses across the country to help comply with regulations on cybersecurity readiness found in the DFAR supplement from the Defense Acquisition Regulation Supplement. So you can go directly to projectspectrum.io to find helpful articles, webinars, courses, and training videos to help you stay up to date on all things CMMC. Another initiative, the Cybersecurity Education Diversity Initiative, or CEDI, is another cybersecurity-focused program developed in collaboration with the National Security Agency. CEDI initiative assists minority-serving institutions and historically Black colleges and universities that have no cyber program to obtain access to consultation and resources from designated National Centers of Academic Excellence in Cybersecurity, thus expanding access to quality cybersecurity education and mentoring to students in all 50 states. So in addition to those, we also remain focused on our specific core programs to DoD. So we have the Mentor Protégé program. It is the oldest continually operated federal Mentor Protégé program in existence. To date, over 1,200 protégés have participated in the program, with current agency participants including Air Force, Army, Navy, Missile Defense Agency, and Defense Intelligence Agency, and we're hoping to expand it to more agencies. We will continue refining the Mentor Protégé program experience, both for existing and potential mentors and protégés. We are committed to improving the program and working collaboratively with participating services and agencies. So keep an eye on our website for any updates. Another critical area of focus is the Indian Incentive Program, or IIP. This congressionally sponsored program helps Native organizations and Native-owned economic enterprises win subcontracts by providing a 5% rebate to prime contractors that utilize these businesses on contracts worth $500,000 or more. So through these subcontracts, the IIP serves as an economic multiplier for Native American communities, while at the same time establishing a diverse industrial base for the department. So I reiterate again that the success of these programs and the overall defense industrial base is the direct result of all of our small business professionals. So although our office primarily focuses on policy, I wanted to speak briefly about working with DoD and some of the resources that may make that process a little bit easier. Pursuing DoD contracts is not for everyone. It requires patience, persistence, and in-depth understanding of federal acquisition rules. It typically takes at least 18 months of planning before a government contractor wins a first contract. For those starting out, plan to invest significant time and resources in becoming procurement ready. It includes first identifying potential opportunities, marketing to potential clients, developing proposals, complying with DoD rules, and implementing the contract. While it's not easy, several government resources and tools can help you win DoD contracts. So we've compiled a 10-step process for companies to market to DoD and win their first DoD contract. These steps apply to new and experienced companies alike. And here I really want to stress that this is a process. There are 10 steps, and I encourage you to do them in order and to not skip any. Even if you think, oh, I've got that one covered, I encourage you to look into it. We have details on each of these steps on our website, kind of a little bit more with additional links and things. And these are tried and true and proven steps that this will help you get your contract. So these are what we're going to do. I'm going to go through these. So step number 1 is to enlist your support network. DoD Support Network serves you. In 1985, DoD created the Procurement Technical Assistance Program, PTAP, which is administered by the Defense Logistics Agency for the specific purpose of helping small businesses that want to learn how to do business with DoD. The PTAP program has Procurement and Technical Assistance Centers, or PTACs. They help small businesses compete for and execute contracts with DoD and other federal agencies. Most PTAC services are free, and I do want to stress that they are free. So if you're paying to get this information, I encourage you first to find your local PTAC and go there and see if they can help you. And in today's environment, since everything is virtual, it doesn't even have to be your local PTAC, but they are, the ones in your area probably are more familiar with the industry in your area. Because we do have 95 of them nationwide. So they are everywhere and they're in every state. So I encourage you to find your local PTAC and start there. There are also other resources available. The Small Business Development Centers is a resource that is sponsored by SBA. If you aren't looking specifically to do government contracting, SBDCs may be more what you're looking for. If you want to specialize specific in government contracts with the Department of Defense, PTACs is probably where you want to go. If you're a veteran, I encourage you to go to our website and you can click on the specific resources for veterans that also are free. There are veteran outreach centers that SBA also funds, and there's only 15 of them, so there's not as many of them throughout the nation, but they are specifically trained to give assistance and free assistance to you and help you get that veteran certification and some of those things that are all free. Okay, so on to step number 2, understand the rules. Review the Federal Acquisition Regulation, or the FAR, and the Defense Federal Acquisition Regulation Supplement, the DFARS, because the defense always has to come up with new rules. So make sure you're familiar with the rules. These are the rules that govern all of the acquisitions, and they are complex, and there's a lot of them. So, but don't be overwhelmed by them. Like I said, if you go to one of your assistance resource centers or whatever, they can help you navigate all of those rules, but just know that there are a lot of them. Step number 3, register in SAM. So SAM stands for the System of Award Management, and it can be found at beta.sam. The FAR requires that all federal contractors be registered in beta.sam. Your local PTAC can help get you registered for free, and SAM's website also includes a ton of resources. There's frequently asked questions, there's user guides, there's helpful links and videos. If you have questions about using the SAM website, they also have a really good help desk that can help you out. But again, and actually in June, our webinar by the Department of Defense is all about navigating SAM. One of the PTACs is going to go through and show it because they recently updated their stuff. And sorry, my phone keeps ringing. And so we will talk about that, but that's a key thing, is you have to be registered in SAM. So step number 4, target your market. Download our guide to marketing with, someone really wants to talk to me. So download our guide to marketing with DoD. On our website, again, we actually have a marketing guide that has 10 more steps. We like the number 10 that specifically tell you about marketing with the DoD. An important thing to do is to be ready, is to find that market that is ready for you. and then specialize in that market. Don't think that you can be generic and just have one way of doing, kind of like when you do your resume. You specialize for the different organizations that you're working with. You don't want to just have one template. You want to go for the actual market that you think you have the product that you're going to sell. So when you meet with program managers and contracting officers, be prepared to discuss their real requirement and how you're going to meet that requirement. So step number 5, create a capability statement. Create a one-page capability statement that summarizes your experience. Your capability statement should not include any typos. It should include your cage code. Again, this is like your resume. This is your one-pager that gets you in the door and says, this is what I can do. So step number 6, identify prime contracting and subcontracting opportunities. You can identify potential buyers for your services by searching again in beta.sam, Beta System for Award Management, which contains detailed information about all the federal contracts that have already been awarded. You can see who bought what, from whom, for how much, when and where, and then you can sort it. You can look by different NAICS codes, you can look by keywords, you can look up by certain customers. There's a lot of information in there. And again, navigating SAM is one of those skills that you probably want to learn to do so that you can get all the information that you want out of it. And next month, we'll be talking about that. Step number 7, pound the pavement. So this is where we want you to connect with our DoD small business professionals. They're advocates for you. These small business professionals are inside of each agency. So inside the Navy, the Army, every buying command has a small business professional. Their job is just to reach out to small businesses that have the things that they're looking for. So we want you to reach out to them, find out what it is they can help you with. They can tell you about the organization's mission, their culture, their challenges, the requirements. And we have links to all of them on our website. If you go to our website and you look for small business professionals, you'll see a link to every single one of them across the Department of Defense. And they are the people who can help you get inside the door. There's also procurement center representatives that SBA has, and they will help businesses obtain federal contracts as well. They review the agency's acquisition strategies to make sure that the small businesses get their fair share of working with it. So if you think there's a contract out there that should be open to small businesses that maybe isn't or isn't set aside, and maybe you think it should be set aside, you might want to reach out to the procurement center representative. And there's a list of those as well. There's one at every SBA office, which is there's one in every state, and then multiple ones in some of the larger states. But all of that is available. There's links to it from our website, or they're available on SBA's website too. So step number 8, actually bidding on your first contract. This is when you get in the game. To succeed, you need to be resilient. You may have only 30 days to put together a top-notch technical proposal, and it's not uncommon for small businesses to spend hundreds of hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars developing these proposals that may not win. So you really want to concentrate on getting that right proposal done. But if you don't get the first one, if you get rejected, don't give up. Don't give up. That's what we say. You need to perfect it. Talk to those small business professionals. Find out what about the proposal wasn't right. They can help you. That's their job, is to work with you. You may also want to start with a simplified acquisition, and those are procurements that are less than $250,000. And those are often set aside specifically for small businesses. And again, to find those, go to beta.sam and you can search on simplified acquisition, and then you can see some of those and perhaps find that. Step number 9 is you actually win your first contract. Congratulations. And it doesn't stop there. Step number 10 is to provide stellar performance. Winning the first contract isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Have a plan for executing a contract to DoD's high standards. So these steps cover everything from starting your business to business development, and you can review them in depth on our website, business.defense.gov. Let's see. For specific opportunities, many agencies within the department prepare acquisition forecasts. If you want to see what the Navy plans to spend, and even looking at it and you look at, these are the prime contracts, but it also gives you an idea of what subcontracts they're going to need and what small businesses can contribute. So you can see all these forecasts as well. They're available on our website. They're available on their websites. It's also available on beta.sam. There's lots of different links to get to the same information, but I encourage you to look at those forecasts to at least know what's going to be bought within the Department of Defense. If you really want a contract, then you can see what's coming up. They are just forecasts, so they do change, but they give you a good idea of what's going on. You can find, like I said, them on our website. So this slide talks about what I talked about for the Procurement and Technical Assistance Program and the PTACs, and that's the link that goes to actually all 95 of the PTACs. Like I said, you can find them. They're on our website. They're also on DLA's website with PTACs, and you can find all the resources together at SBA's website. They link all the SBDCs, all the PTACs, the SCORE offices, the WBCs. You can see them all on a map and figure out which one's closest to you. And those are all the free resources. It's really important. I mean, I encourage you to seek out all the free ones. If the free ones don't get what you want, then maybe you can seek someone else who can specialize more. But I really think you can find what you're looking for and all these available resources that we fund. They get grants from us to provide the services to you. So certainly go out there and use them is what I encourage you to do. So as I've said many times, our website is business.defense.gov. And our email address, if you want to try and reach us directly, that link is on our website as well. And then if you want to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, you can see when our webinars are. You can sign up to join them and to get emails from us. I send out emails a couple times a month, sharing the information. So happy to share any information that you have with me. So that's really the information that I have. I can answer some specific questions, or I can try to, and get back to you if I don't have the answers. So Reena,
yeah, no, this is very helpful. And if you can leave that slide up there, because there are a few questions around what you mentioned. Where do I find the forecast? Give me the link. Well, it is right up there. So if you want to note it down, we are recording this webinar, so you will have access to the recording as well to go back and review all the ton of information that you zoom through so quickly. So few questions, and the number one question that I'm going to start with is, when a company wants to do business with one of the branches of the DoD, where should they start? With those branch small business offices, or should they start with you and go down?
No, you should definitely start with the specific service. If you know who wants to buy your product or service, then I encourage you to go specifically to them. They all have a small business professional specifically for that. You can find them on our website. There's links to them, but then you can also go to their websites, and they have them, and those forecasts that we're looking for are on their websites and ours as well. But yeah, you want to reach out to there. We are really just the policy office. My job is to share all the information, to get the resources, to get the policies, to make everybody else's job to work with you easier, and help you connect with them. But our office specifically doesn't really do any contracting, but the services do, and so do all of our defense agencies. I mean, we have 24 defense agencies out there. So it's not just the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. There's a whole lot out there that are looking for all kinds of services. So the key is to find out who wants to buy what you have to sell. And I would start with those small business professionals and the PTACs. The PTACs are very helpful. We train them, and so we teach them all about what our small business professionals work. We work as a team. Like I said, they are one of our resource partners. We actually provide them funding to work with you all. So we're all on the same team.
Very good. So again, after this webinar, please don't start pinging Ms. Mundt's office to ask for opportunity. That's not where you're supposed to go. But let me bring up a question. Oftentimes our webinars focus so much on the services companies, but there are some very innovative product companies, industrial based, building all kinds of innovative products. And the one thing that we hear often is there is no RFP for my product because it didn't exist. How do I market this? How do I get my product in front of the military, the DoD? What advice would you give them?
That is a great question. Yes, there are programs out there that are specifically for, I mean, depending on where you are, some products have not even been developed. It's just an idea. And if you're looking, you know, you need capital, you need money, you need someone to help you bring your product to market. We have programs for that. The SBIR, which is Small Business Innovation Research, and STTR, Small Business Technology Transfer. There are two different programs, same office. And again, there's a headquarters office in DoD, but each service has their own SBIR, STTR office as well, and lots of opportunities. But the DoD website for SBIR has all the opportunities. They have gathered them all in one place, which is great. So that you can go to one place and then see that the opportunity exists in the Army or the Air Force and things like that. So that's the number one place I would start for some kind of innovation. There are other different ones around as well, and they're well hidden. And that's why on our website, we do have a place for innovation. And if you go there, you can see some of these other things because there are grants available for small businesses, like I said, and for people who just have an idea. The Rapid Reaction Technology Office, our RTO, is another one that gives grants, and they are going out with just a broad area announcement soon. I just saw them, and our webinar this month is this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and it's specifically on business innovation. If you go to our website, you can see the link. You don't have to register. There's a link to it there. From our website takes you to DAU, and you can learn specifically about innovation, small business innovation at 3 o'clock today if you are. And it will be recorded. So if you don't have time to do it and you just want to go back and visit our website later, you can watch it and find out more information and reach out to those contacts as well.
And what advice would you give for companies who have a developed product but have been selling on the commercial side and now want to get into the DoD? They don't need the grants, but what is the best way to sell then what has already been proven on the commercial side?
Yeah, another good question. Again, as soon as you figure out who you think can buy it, that's who you need to do. You need to target specifically into that command, whether it's, I mean, if it's cybersecurity, maybe you want to get into, well, everybody can use cybersecurity. But if you have a specific medical thing, maybe you want to go into the Defense Health Agency and contact their small business office and say, hey, I have this product and this is what I want to do. And no question is stupid. And I mean, email them. That's why their email contacts are out there, because you never know what they're looking for. And that's what their job is. I mean, they have people that just answer those inquiries. And so I would say ask as many questions as you can and keep going until you get an answer. And I know Reena was kind in saying, don't bombard our office, but you certainly can email us and we can try and connect you to the right small business professional for what it is that you're doing. Because that's, I mean, my office specifically is supposed to do outreach. We're supposed to reach as many small businesses as we can, and the best way to do that. And so please share this information with anybody you know. It's not supposed to be a secret. That's what we used to say at SBA. We were the best kept small secret that there was. But anyway, so.
That's great advice there. I'm switching over to the questions that are coming in the Q&A line. And there's a good question here that says, do you recommend using the GSA mass contract to work with the DoD, or do they have preferred contracting vehicles to work with the different DoD agencies?
No, GSA does have, I mean, I would say working specifically, if your product is, one that they have on one of their contracts that they're looking for, I would go with GSA because they just have a broader reach. And it's all government contracting, and it's good. I mean, some of our defense agencies, use the GSA contracts to do it and to get the people, and so it all works. I would say whatever you see out there as a contract that is for your product, then I would, or service, then I would go with that, and don't target specifically DoD unless you have something that is not good anywhere else. That only is for the warfighter, specifically for the war. If you're selling body armor or something, then you probably want to target DoD. So it kind of depends on your product or service. But GSA has some great opportunities, has some great vehicles out there that can help you get contracts faster.
Right. And so a follow-on question to that, which is the big elephant in the room and always gets asked, the sole source contracts. How do we get those? How are those awarded? And what is the best advice you can give businesses on the reality of sole source?
Well, and the reality of sole source, it really depends on your size, for one. I mean, if you are an 8A, there are lots of set-asides specifically for 8A contracts that say you have to, but again, it's finding someone who wants to buy it, talking to them, and then telling them to write the sole source for you. So it's working with those small business professionals. If you really want to get the sole source, there's lots that are set aside. Some are set aside for just disadvantaged small businesses. That's the biggest category. Some are set aside specifically for women, and some are set aside specifically for hub zones, and then some are set aside for service-disabled veterans. Those are the specific set-aside categories, which you will get a sole source. If you qualify for one of those categories, then you want to specifically, market yourself in those categories, because that's where the sole sources are. If you don't qualify for one of those categories, then it's probably very difficult that you're going to get a sole source, unless you're the only producer of that specific product. Is the way that it works. But I mean, being an 8A, get in the SBA 8A program, then for 8 years, you get, special treatment you can get specific counseling by the 8A, by the SBA, and they can help you get those contracts. The thing is though, it expires after eight or 9 years. I think they extended it to 10 during COVID. Gave you an additional year. But then once you graduate, then you have to play with everybody else. But it is a great program, and it will help you get contracts, because there are many that are set aside. And like I said before, in the small acquisition contracts, anything less than 250,000, those are set aside. They have to go to a small business. So if your product is in that market, then I mean, I would go to beta.sam, look at simplified acquisitions, and see what's out there. Maybe it's there and you didn't even know it. What else?
Yeah, and then again, the reality of it is it's sole sources are not guaranteed. There's no such thing as a guaranteed sole source just because you got your 8A or just because you got your SDV OSB certification. So there are some sources out there that tell you as soon as you get your cert, you're guaranteed something there. Just be mindful there isn't such a thing. So yeah, coming back to the policy side of the house, a big problem for companies who want to get into doing business with the DoD is security clearance. Unless you have a clearance, you can't bid on those contracts, and there are very few agencies that will sponsor. So what is your office doing to help small businesses get those cleared contracts or get facility clearance so they can do business with the DoD? Are there any initiatives in place for small businesses?
There are. We are working on some policies to put in the DFARS that will make it easier. Security clearance is still a security clearance. You're going to have to get one, but to make it easier to navigate to them, I guess, is DIA has been specifically targeted to be the agency that will help everyone do that, and they're going to make it easier. There should probably be a new rule coming out in the Federal Register soon that addresses specifically how we're going to do that. We are working on it. Unfortunately, it takes about a year for a rule to go into effect so that we can actually help them and to get additional funding as well to do that. But DIA is a big one, and Missile Defense Agency, they have some programs in place that make it a little bit easier for some of the contractors to get it. I don't have a good answer for that one. I'll have to look into more as to exactly, because I know that there's the small business professional there at DIA is very good and he has he's given some webinars on that as well. If someone needs specific information, contact me, and I can connect you with them, and maybe you can watch their webinars are probably recorded or whatever, and you can see some specific information, but I don't know specific.
Yeah, the chicken and egg story continues with the small business, especially when it comes to security clearance. So that would be nice for some reprieve in that, to get an interim or something, go through that, so you can bid on some of the cleared projects. So coming back to the Q&A chat line here, big question, often emails go through security walls and don't get answered at all. Any suggestions? How do we get past that?
That's a good one. We don't, and when we get them, sometimes if they have links, don't send links to the DoD because we can't see any of them. Send actual, I guess, PDFs or something if you're gonna attach a copy of your capability statement. Links get lost a lot. The osd.business.defense@mail.mil does, I test it a lot because I say to my staff, are you guys actually reading all those emails that come in, and what are you doing? So I send it emails and they reply to them. So I know that we read those emails. The ones that have I don't know if they come through the firewall easier than other ones that are just names, but I don't know. Get on. Yeah. Also, when you sign up for our, that'll get too. If you sign up for our webinars, this will be an extra little thing. I'll get a whole bunch more people signing up for. When I send it out, do a reply, and it will come directly to me. And that should come. A reply probably comes in easier than something from the outside. So that's one good way to do it, because I did notice that a lot of people were replying to when I sent it out. Last time advertising our thing, and because I forgot to put the link in, so I got lots of people asking me questions. But I do get those emails, so that might be a good way. If you sign up for our emails, and then once we send out one, reply to it, and it comes back directly to our name and to our office. That might be a way to get a hold of us. But
there you go. There's an insider trick for you guys.
And the phone numbers that are on our website actually get answered, even though we're all working from home still. We're not at the Pentagon right now, but all the phones are forwarded. So all of those phones should be working. And so you can actually get a live person on the other end. I answer my phone all the time. So.
Well, I know that you answered it in one ring. So thank you. Awesome. Well, there are some other specific questions, but advice on when a company should go for their 8A certification, the maturity of a company before they decide to file for that 8A certification. You've been on the SBA side, so we'll tap into that hat a little bit. What advice would you give this company?
Say as soon as you think you're ready to market. Don't do it if you don't have your product developed, and because it's not about giving you advice on product development and all of that, but it is giving you advice on how to get contracts. As soon as you're ready and you think that you can, I would go through our 10 steps and our 10-step process. And if you can say, I can do all of those, then you're ready to go apply for that. And I would talk to SBA. They have specific counselors specifically for 8A in each of their offices, and they have the best advice for 8A.
Great. So speaking of your 10 steps, I want to share, we did a survey, it's about a year and a half old now, but the market survey we did was how many proposals does a company put in to get one contract? 30 years ago when I started in this industry, it was 1 out of 4. The results came back 1 in 27.
Wow.
So you have to put in 27 proposals before you get one contract. Now, this is not true for everyone. Industries are different. You may be the sole provider or something, but just so the government also understands how expensive the process is, and for the industry to be realistic, especially if you are new to the government contracting and you say, well, I put in my one proposal and I'm going to wait around to see if I got awarded. It's 1 in 27 is the result.
So being persistent is important if you really want that contract. So yeah, persistence is.
And as Ms. Mundt said, the proposal process can be expensive. Be prepared to do your sweat equity when you're starting out, don't use up all your capital on proposals, even though that's what our company does, but we turn away companies who are not ready for it. You should really be ready for spending those kinds of dollars. You can do a lot of them yourselves. I do have a question. In your slides, you mentioned there were bi-weekly calls with the industry. Was that primarily with the for COVID related contracting, or what was that about?
Correct. It was specifically designed. We started it during back in April of last year is when we started it, and it's really with the industry associations that represent all the different industries. So there's so they represent the different markets or whatever. And we said, what are you seeing that is what is the impact of COVID-19 that is different, that is new? What can we do to help you? And a lot of them, I mean, at the beginning, it was, well, the bases are closed, or we can't get access, or we can't do this. And, when there was the total shutdown and we were quarantined, how do we get permission to be on the road and do our work? And so we got them special letters, we got them special permission. We used those industry calls to find out what were the big barriers, what was causing it. And then there was a lot of questions. How do other industries, how do we get PPE so that we can continue to work? And so we worked with some of our partners. We worked with DLA to say, how can we help people get more PPE? And then other people said, hey, we have specific products that are specific to COVID-19 that we think the military needs. How do we get them in? And DLA specifically did that. The Defense Logistics Agency. If that's another resource, they currently are the ones that oversee our PTACs. And PTACs are going to come under our office by the end of the year. But they have a lot of resources on their website that are specific to products that they buy. Because what they do is they tend to be, for all of our small agencies, they kind of become the marketplace, if you will. They buy a lot of stuff and then distribute it to the other things. So if you have a product that is a common product that's across many different lines, you might want to check out DLA and their forecasts and some of the things that they are buying. They have lots of good information on their website as well. So.
And are these associations listed anywhere if people want to join or be part of those industry associations? Is there a list somewhere that are advocating to the DoD?
That is a good question. It is not listed, but I will see about putting that on our website.
That'd be fantastic. Because there are so many associations, companies are constantly asked to join, but it would be nice to know who is advocating to the DoD so they can be part of that. Very good. I do want to give a shout out. We have our West Virginia PTAC on the call, and they have put their website up in the chat function. When you mentioned PTACs, we thank them for being on this call and putting out their information. If you're a West Virginia company or not, they're available to help you. Reach out to them. Ms. Mundt, it is 15:15, and we wanted to keep this to about 45 to 50 minutes. We appreciate your time and patience. I don't want to impose any more. The questions are, they keep coming, but I think you've covered a lot of them in your presentation already. So we will be sending out the recording to all the participants, and we'll also have that up on our website and our YouTube channel so you can access it at any time. So Perfect. Thank you again for spending time with us and all the great information.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.